Bam. And we are active. So this is another impromptu stream. Discussions with that dude. I'm with that dude, BT. He has joined the stream. And we gonna have a very fruitful stream like we always do. And before we get started, let me go ahead and hit you.
Yeah. Hey. B-Eazy Dat Dude, shit so hot it's burning up, just go ahead and turn this up. I bring the pain like an aftermath of a car wreck. It's a lot of niggas that say they real, but to me that shit is far-fetched. Most them cats is pussy, they really is on some feminine stuff. I rock up on them with the 40 ounce, it's a definition of adrenaline rush. What it do is sweet like cinnamon puffer, my niggas is rough like Willow Pass. Grew up out on Mary Mac, but I used to hang on Willow Pass. These birds that I roll with, outcasts and misfits, better zip lips when you get hit. When the fifth spit, flat line in your pit. Trap attitudes, black magic, no voodoo. Get the bands like boo-coo, for the cocaine they go cuckoo. Most these niggas is foo-foo, so I'm shitting on them like doo-doo. I can't fuck with y'all like tofu, I'm just saying, man, like Goku. Bad bitches at the house with me watching Netflix or Roku. Fuck them both at the same time, and I swear to God it was so cool. Street legend, real boss, I call shots cause I'm still saucy. I know some G's to the bike crack on Chirac and then fly back out the mill. They hear me flow, they say I be burning up, burning up. Cookie to the draw is what we burning up, burning up. What you ain't know, oh we burning up, burning up. This shit so hot, it's burning up. Just go ahead and turn this up. When you hear me flow, I be burning up, burning up. Cookie to the draw is what we burning up, burning up. What you ain't know, oh we burning up, burning up. This shit so hot, it's burning up. Just go ahead and turn this up.
Bam, here we are. We gonna get straight into it. We got none other than the intellectual soapbox. Salute to you, brother. And we have who I call the mayor, knowledge and relationships, M3. Salute to you. And salute to everybody that's joining now, that will be joining in the future, watching the playback. We ain't gonna keep y'all waiting. We are gonna get right into it. So there is a viral video going on right now, and I think that this creator did a pretty good job of breaking it down. If y'all have any issues hearing this, let me know. Hold on, let me go ahead and close that. Bam. None other than who? Obama. Obama, why won't you just sit down somewhere? But since he won't sit down, let's see what he has to say.
That's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
One dad.
One dad. No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And then that boy may need.
Bro, what the hell? This is only 20 seconds in. I couldn't get through that, bro. He's saying boys don't just need one dad. I get it, right? There's the whole saying of it takes a village, etc. We've grown up with that. But when have boys only had one dad? What the hell is she talking about? Obama has brothers. You mean to tell me there's no other men? There's coaches. Many people have military jarhead buddies. There's people that you know that are male preachers and pastors. Most preachers and pastors are male, right? You love the Bible thump. Yeah. You can't get positive role models from them. I get what they're saying to say that, hey, yeah, your dad or your mom can't be they can't be the super parent, right? I understand that aspect, but it's also diminishing the ability of what a parent could actually do. A loving, committed, determined parent can do. He's essentially saying that you on your own are not good enough to raise your child, you have to go seek out a mentorship. But it's only 20 seconds in. I just had to get it off because I'm sick of Obama, who I call Hobama. But he's just really pathetic. But let me rewind it back so y'all can hear what he's saying. I'm going to try to get through more than 20 seconds, but I just got a little queasy. My bad.
And that's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy,
one dad.
One dad. No matter how good the dad
is, he can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And then that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And look at how they're all in agreement with this nonsense. Obama is up here saying straight men are just not enough. Even an active present father isn't enough. He's saying to raise boys, you have to have multiple men brought around this boy child and disrespect the father in the process by including all these other men to teach his son how to undermine his authority and disrespect him too. Keep listening to him. Let him tell you just what type of man you need to bring around your boys.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't outlawed, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that to show.
Is your mic back on?
Oh, my bad, bro. I was talking. Could you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, my bad. My thing was muted, so apologies to the chat. But and salute to Braxton, he pulled up. But he's essentially saying that, hey, you know, only people of this specific orientation could teach you about yourself, could give perspective on the father, and you need that. Like, many people have been successful through life without having that. And I'm not saying that, I'm not discounting and saying that, hey, there's no value, but to go around and promote this and say that you need that, because on the flip side, he's not going to go to their community and talk about what they need in terms of a heterosexual, masculine, what they would say, cisgendered straight male, right? He's not going to them and say, hey, you guys need this in your life to be able to be a sympathetic, empathetic, to gain kindness, to gain wisdom. Like, shouldn't we all be growing from each other? Shouldn't we all be teaching each other? But instead, he's saying that, no, only people of this specific orientation could teach you. But then also, I would dig into it. Like, does that mean that once they turn, once they turn homosexual, that suddenly they become like the oracle? And does that apply to all races and all ethnicities and all genders? Well, technically with this one, he was specifically talking about males, but like, is it far-fetched to think that this ideology stretches towards the females as well? What's your position on what you heard right now so far, BT?
Yeah, when it comes to this topic, I personally feel that he is trying to soften up a lot. He's trying to soften up the masculinity that a lot of people are kind of upset about, as far as voting, say, for Democrats. I think it's more politically motivated through messaging to soften up for acceptance of, okay, that's just the way it is. That makes sense, and then you start accepting the narratives of a more feminine, everything goes LGBTQ plus belief, and you just roll with it. And that was a major factor of why the Democrats got crushed, is because it's not seen as masculine to vote for them. I think it could be political. He grew up with a wealthy white grandfather. I don't know what role model maybe he should just speak for himself, because I don't believe his father was in his life. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he was around.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. His father wasn't around and his father wasn't gay. So, like, where are you getting this from? And like you said, this clearly was like an agenda. And I know people use that too much. Oh, the agenda and all this stuff. This clearly was one of those items because this was volunteered information. He wasn't provoked or prodded into this soliloquy that he went on. It's just like he volunteered this information. And if he was speaking for himself and said, from my perspective, this would helped me as an individual, I wouldn't hold him to that, because who am I to tell him what did or didn't help him? But when he's saying all boys need that, and implicitly he's, talking to black boys, but by him making it a all lives matter, all boys matter thing, yeah, he's talking to your kids too, because that's what they do. They use a black face to usher in and use the black community to galvanize, and then they try to spread it to everyone else, which is why they call the canary in the coal mine. You know what I mean? Look, the blacks are on board with it, and then next thing you know, like you said, you're desensitized to it. It becomes normalized, and you become radical to speak against it. But not just radical, you become toxic masculinity is what you are, exuding. But based on what? Like who is the judge on what's toxic masculinity? And let's just say that is a real thing. Wouldn't it be logical to know that there's toxic femininity? But why isn't no one ever talking about that? I wonder why. And the Dems, all they were doing were just like bashing men, and then they were trying to make men, they say masculinity is fluid, so they can't really determine what that means, right? So it's like, if you like working on cars and doing carpentry projects or things like that, that's what someone would say. That's a man's man. He works with his hands. He builds things. But they're saying, no, that is a patriarchal thing to look at it. And somebody that wants to occasionally wear dresses, somebody that wants to paint their nails, somebody that wants to, dabble with, various opposite sexes. You know what I mean? That's just supposed to be fluid, and it's all the same. And if you say, no, actually it is not the same, then you become a bigot and also a transphobe, a homophobe. Like, how? It just gets, it's insane, bro. But let me play a little bit more.
Empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group, so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
So Obama said the straight father isn't enough to raise a boy child. They need a gay man.
Bro, what the fuck is he talking about? if your son's gay, then you need a gay person to help you know how to raise your gay son. Like, no, if someone's son is gay, people like, yeah, my son is gay and I'm still gonna love him, right? It's not like, here, let me go
Right.
seek mentorship, because if your son is just naturally straight, he's not encouraging them to go seek mentorship to figure out what his straight kids are going through. But if your kid is gay, then, oh, you need this mentorship. But he's saying, regardless if your kid is gay or not, you need this to teach you kindness and empathy. It's essentially saying that you can't be in tune with your emotions unless you reach out to a gay person. And there's some amazing gay people out there. Shout out to JB Font of RBN. He's one of the solid dudes out there. And a lot of people like be saying like, damn, bro, I didn't even know you was gay or anything. But like, he's not just like um just trying to cram it down your throat. He's just a regular dude living his life, and shout out to
Right.
Marcel Dixon. You see what I'm saying? Like, no one, James Baldwin, there were like prominent figures where like they were gay and no one even gave a damn. Like, I get along with them more than like some straight person and stuff. The thing is, they're not pushing, their sexuality and say, because I'm gay, I would be a better mentor towards your kids. That's kind of what Obama is doing. But on the flip side, if I'm saying, Obama, because I'm straight, I would be able to give your daughters better advice, about, strong masculine men, that would be considered offensive. But him saying that, oh, you being a parent is not enough to raise your child, you need some gay person to coach you. I mean, that's super disrespectful, but what do I know? But let me play a little bit more.
It's
To teach them compassion and keep them in line. What line?
Who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
So Obama said the straight father isn't enough to raise a boy child. They need a gay man to teach them compassion and keep them in line. What line exactly? Well, I think we all know that. But I guess we're also tossing out the role of mother in this whole situation because Obama went on his wife's podcast. All of them up there pushing femininity on boys. Michelle Obama, too. They sat up there echoing each other, promoting the grooming of boys by feminine men. A lot was said, and we're going to get into it, but first, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. Won't waste any time. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
And
so when you're thinking about retirement, one of the first things you want is to calculate.
Well, I don't got YouTube Premium, so bam, I got to skip that ad.
That's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
One dad.
One dad. No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything.
Barack, what? Why? It's like there's an agenda to eradicate masculine men. What is this war against men? I just can't understand it. Why does a straight man need to confide in a feminine man for anything?
Exactly. If a straight man is doing this with a gay man, then he's not a straight man. He's a gay man too. Yes, if a straight man is looking for feminine energy, he's supposed to call a woman, not a feminine gay man. So
I mean, that does make sense, right? Like, he's trying to get in tune with his manhood, and he's going to reach out to someone that's trying to get in tune with their femininity. How does that compute? It doesn't.
Right.
Go ahead,
and
BT.
this is more targeted agenda towards Black men. This is kind of the luxury I have, is it's assumed we're not tolerant of anybody, so they don't bother us with this stuff, but it's you guys that are supposed to get on board with the new whatever, the majority of the liberals come up with in that demographic. So, yeah, man, you guys get it from all sort of end, all both sides. It's tough. They assume that the father's not in the household. They assume that the father is toxic. It's a terrible message. It really is.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a terrible message. It's super disrespectful. It's condescending. And even as like a gay person too, like they should be offended as well too, because he's trying to speak as if he's speaking in favor of them, but he's also imposing his narcissism too, because he's saying, oh, people need this because I said it. No, no, you're not a god. Like, no one needs that just because you said it. And I was a president. Yeah, you were a president that didn't do anything for my community. I can't say anything notable. And then you start thinking back and you like, well, he actually did do a lot for the LGBTQ community. When you look at the legislation, those were, with the gay marriage, he did there was like a hate crime act where basically it was a black dude who suffered from an extremely real hate crime, and then they attached some gay white dude there, and it was like I think it was the Bird and Shepherd Act or something like that. But basically a black dude, he got drugged, like they like tied him to a car and like drug him through the neighborhood. And then some gay person, they got killed, and they were like, it was a hate crime. He got killed because he was gay. It's like, how do you genuinely know that? So, it's just like if somebody kills a black person that says the N-word, that's not a hate crime. But if you do something to a gay person and you yell the F word, hate crime, enhancement, and maybe the death penalty. So it's like, really?
Right.
So, Obama was and then there were rumors. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but there were rumors that, Obama used to play for the other team as well, which, hey, if that's what he wants to do, fine. But then when you start putting a bunch of pieces together, doesn't really seem that far-fetched. And I don't think that's an issue for him, but it's an issue for him to be trying to use his presidential pulpit to be trying to project this onto other people's boys, like, and the boys that he projected it on, they're not from his lineage, they're not from his class. So who are you really talking to? Because he's not talking to a bunch of Ivy Leaguers, right? He's not talking to a bunch of Indonesians in the private schools that he went to. So who the hell is he talking to? And we know rhetorically, and that's why a lot of people have an issue with it.
Mentality. That's the elite that they do dinner parties with and live around. Living in Hawaii and Martha's Vineyard or Cape Cod or wherever is one of his summer homes. That hanging around DC circles. It's a ton of money and organization. As far as, vote gathering, there's a lot behind some of these groups, and that's a very big one, especially when they start adding in all these other people like, trans and non-binary and the others, is you've increased used to be just LGB, and that's what everybody has basically become grown to accept. I don't see a lot of issues. I've been around gays and I don't have a problem, to each his own. But now you need to start adding all these other people. So is he not feeding into, these people as well? Is there more behind it than what he's really saying?
There's always more behind it whenever you see Obama, but let's see what else they got to say.
So not only is Obama trying to normalize grown gay men grooming young boys, but he's also trying to erase and replace real femininity.
Let's normalize men being men. The agenda you're pushing, it's not working. People are not falling for that anymore. Not even people in that community. It's not cool. I'm raising a young man, and I want him to be just that, a young man. He can go to his father, his uncle, his cousins, or any other masculine man to get the answers that he needs. He doesn't need to confide in a man who can't even relate to the issues he's going through.
Barack Obama said little boys need to be around gay men to learn from them. Man, you done lost your motherfucking mind. Ain't no motherfucking way you to say some goofy shit like that. But I ain't surprised because I already knew you was a goof ass.
My name is Johnny Valentine.
It's just a lot of folks just not catching on to you a goof ass. It's like people been saying this shit for years.
Barack Obama is in the news again because he was on Michelle Obama's podcast and he said that he thinks all boys need more than their fathers as role models. He said that he thinks that all boys need a gay role model because that's what he had growing up. Now, am I surprised he said that? No, because he is America's first.
So that goes back to the elitism. I had a gay mentor growing up, so all boys need it. Like, what?
Right.
I mean,
right.
And but he leaves out all of the privileges that he had too. Like you said, he grew up with wasn't it? Some people say that you know, some of his family is Jewish or whatever. I'm not sure. I think that he is related to the Bushes somehow, or he does have some other presidential line in his family. So this dude grew up with privilege. He grew up with pretty much a silver spoon, going to private schools, and you know, his life is not the average life of a Black American freedman or even the average white American. So for him to just act like, you know, what he's saying is going to really relate to someone that's growing up in the inner city of Baltimore. It's like they're growing up around gangs, guns, violence, dilapidated buildings, and it's like, well, all you need is a gay mentor. Like, what the hell? How the hell does that help with the conditions? That doesn't help fund the schools. That doesn't help. They live in a food desert. So what? You need a mentor to just tell you to suck it up, buttercup? Like, this dude is pathetic, man. But let's commence.
Gay president. And that has been editorialized. But I want to challenge Barack Obama. Since you are the Democrats' favorite Black president, and you say you're from the hood, I challenge you to go to the most dangerous projects, where you know there are not many fathers because they were locked up under Reagan, Clinton, and Biden, and say some like that. I double dare you.
So Barack Obama was on Michelle Obama's podcast or something, and he said that boys need gay men in their lives. What the f is he talking about? The word need is a strong word, bro. I'm just trying to understand, like, why would Barack Obama say that? Like, what was the point of even saying that? He knows that's not true. No one wants to be forced onto anybody. Gay people don't want to be forced onto nobody. Hi, I'm gay. I need to be in your life. No. Hi, I'm Black. You're white. I need to be in your life. No, that's what. No, you don't. We can talk and be friends, and I can see if I like you.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Let bro cook. Hey, yeah, M3, you're gonna have to come up. You're gonna have to come up. Hold on, because I didn't get to. Hold up. Yeah, because Obama, he's doing more than tripping, you feel me? But like the dude was saying, like I said, that's insensitive to gay people too, because you're essentially saying, hey, I'm a straight man and I'm a president and I had a gay mentor, so that's what all boys need. Like, who the hell are you to just tell people what they need? And just like the example that this dude was given, like, yeah, man, historically the country is anti-Black, so you need to hire Black people and you need Black friends. It's like, even if that may, you know, morally may have been the right thing, Is that's what's likely to happen? You forcing black friends on people, forcing black mentors, forcing gay mentors on people. Like, this dude just needs to sit his ass down and shut up. Like, the sooner Obama goes away, the better. But let me rewind it a little bit back.
Point of even saying that, he knows that's not true. No one wants to be forced onto anybody. Gay people don't want to be forced onto nobody. Hi, I'm gay. I need to be in your life. No. Hi, I'm black. You're white. I need to be in your life. No, that's what. No, you don't. We can talk and be friends, and I can see if I like you, but there's no need for any of that. What the fuck is it talking about? Like, with Barack Obama, it's like that rule: you're cool till you're not cool no more. And right now, Barack Obama is on his uncool arc. His character arc. He's on the uncool character arc right now. It's fucking crazy.
No, I mean, I get it. He was cool, but it's like, what did he even really do to be cool? He tethered on to my lineage, acting like he was a down brother, but it's like, no one that grew up here could really relate to Obama. You could say the skin tone. He doesn't even have the same skin tone as me. So it's like, I've seen Donald Trump be darker than Obama on a certain tan day. So no, I really don't have anything in common with him. His fake little accent where he's talking like he has. I'm just sick of this dude. But we've been joined by an illustrious guest, M3, what it is and what it do.
M3.
You muted.
Oh, my bad. What's up, B-Eazy? What up, BT? How you guys doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm just gonna come up real quick, man. Just say, look, the Obamas, they're tripping, and whatever agenda they're trying to push out, it's not gonna work. You know, it this is why, like, unfortunately, like, even when it comes like to the liberal party, most people who are once liberals are switching over to being conservative because, people ain't got time for like more confusion to be put on like this world anyway. Like, it doesn't make sense, like when he said, okay, if you're gay, that you need to be around with gay fathers or whatever the hell he was talking about.
No,
Like,
he
it
was
didn't make
saying
it.
he was saying he was saying he wasn't saying the gay man, he was saying the straight dudes. He said all boys need a gay mentor because having one father is not enough and your father can't do everything for you, so you need a gay person to teach you kindness, empathy, and basically how to navigate masculinity. Go ahead, M3.
Yeah, but all right, but see, like, I know like a couple like gay guys or whatever, right? And that doesn't mean it's like everyone is kind-hearted. That's the part that it doesn't really make any sense to me. And some of them, like, you could be gay, sometimes be on a down low, and you could still be like an asshole, and you could be openly gay. Um, Being gay does not make you
Bro,
anything.
there's a lot of racist gay people where they were like, no, seriously,
Yeah.
like a lot of those liberals, like there's a lot of like liberal Karens, they're lesbians, so they're gay, and then there's a lot of gay white dudes, but they hide behind like that community and them being liberal. So they're like, I can't be racist, I'm a Democrat. But it's like, you're way more racist than some dude from Kentucky that was a hillbilly. So that's a good point, M3, because there is this misconception where it's like, don't get me wrong, of course there are some racist conservatives, but you will have a better chance of communicating and coming to an understanding with them versus a lot of those liberals are super entitled. And bro, if you don't get onto their agenda, they just straight attack you. Like, and then they start like, I was like, damn, I thought this was like, some progressive town. We in Cali, right? And people think in California, oh, California is just this blue utopia where everyone gets along because there's people of color and all this other stuff. It's like, no, like California is racist, is whatever racist place you can think of, California is right up there with it. It's just they're more sophisticated with theirs, right? and they can be more overt, and they can do it more systemically, so you don't think that it's like we're not being racist. And then it's like you look in the tech industry, like, why is it only H-1B visas? It's like, see, we're not being racist because we hired people of color. But it's like you were racist of shutting out all the blacks. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
go ahead, M3.
Well, with California, right, the way how they master racism is by prejudice. You know what I mean? So because it's okay to be prejudiced towards like something that you just like really despise and don't like based off of like economic or physicality or whatever type of circumstances though. But of course, California, right, on the under, right? Yeah, it's like it has layers of racism. They just not really openly about it. And again, you said they're so sophisticated on it. So they have a good craftsmanship when it comes to racism, but it's blatantly out there. You know what I mean? And that's something that we can never really forget. But hey, I digress. I just want to just say my 2 cents into about the bombers because again, it's these liberals again that's just pushing this type of narrative. And I don't know why. I don't know what's the benefit of it, but hey, I mean, I just say it like this: take the Obama's word as a grain of salt. This is a guy who led our country, but then yet, you know, Michelle is the lead and he follows, I guess. So, and he already kind of pointed some key points anyway. He did not really grow up with a lot of father figures. So that is also another key component that you also got to look into, because how would he be like if he actually had, you know, like real father figures like in his life that actually taught him the key components of masculinity? Because the ones that he's saying that like, okay, I forgot what he said in the beginning, where like it should be different. The stuff he was describing in the beginning, I felt like okay, it was pretty valid. Yeah, I mean, you know, men, you know, were stoic. They got along with other men. They got along with the spouses or so as he called it. So I don't see what was wrong with that. You know, now I could say maybe the thing that men like, you know, should work on is basically like the communication aspect, but at the same time, it's also up to the spouse that they're with. Because here's the thing: now these days, like the women that you're with are not going to be supportive around like you're moping. You know, they're not going to be supportive when you fall like in hard times. So if you can't talk to the woman that you're with and be vulnerable, then unfortunately, like you chose like the wrong type of woman. That's the way how I kind of look at it.
So
That's spot on.
yeah, how much more time you got, M3? You about to dip?
Oh yeah, in a minute.
Okay, cool. So how do you have you been following Michelle Obama? Because you know she has a podcast now, right?
I mean, yeah, I know she has a podcast, but I haven't really been following her podcast like that.
Yeah, no,
I
I
see
get
like
it.
yeah.
I haven't been following it either. But the reason why I was asking is because there's been a bunch of times where she's just going on there trying to make herself seem like a victim, but then also seem like she overcame so much, which I get it. You know what I mean? Like being black in America, you know, it is a daily struggle and stuff. But like
Right.
she haven't been towards the struggle in like decades. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, why do
Mm-hmm.
you keep trying to reach back to the struggle to try to act like you're relating to us, but you don't really give a damn about us? And that's what I'm getting sick of with the Obamas, because here you got Obama saying, okay, here, you know, let me inundate you with, here you need to have a gay mentor. And then Michelle Obama and Kamala, they was just pushing a lot of abortion shit. So between the abortions and the gay stuff, it's like, bro, what are you guys really trying to do? They're not talking about the nuclear family or anything anymore. They're just saying, here, your kid could be Zaya Wade, and not only that, if not, If you have a son, oh well, his daddy's probably gonna be a deadbeat, so just abort the kid. It's like, what the hell are y'all promoting, bro?
Right. Here's the thing, right? It's clear to see like her what her target audience is, because you're gonna see all this like buffoonery based off of the audience that's actually supporting like your network. And so I could tell you right now, without even having to do like intense like research, her audience is based off of black women. You know, I mean, probably the majority of black women, um, but when you have an
A
audience
lot of
that,
those, liberal Karens too. She has a
right, yeah,
huge following with them.
yeah. I mean, it's multicultural, but definitely it's mostly predominantly like with women and liberals as well too. So when you have like those types that supporting you, you're gonna be seeing all kinds of goofy stuff about like, oh, like, you know, make your husband like seem like he's the most like feminine man at home, like behind it, like his leadership in America. You're gonna have on a podcast saying some goofy type of stuff or whatever. And then of course, like, you're gonna act like, okay, like you've been like long suffering, like along with the struggle or whatever, right? Because that's how you promote your brand with the women. You want women to look at you and see like, wow, like it's almost like the next Oprah. Like, wow, like, you know, if Michelle, right, you know, was headstrong and behind every great man was a great woman that was leading him behind the scenes, I feel like that's what she's trying to promote. That you could do it all while you're in the struggle, during the struggle, out of the struggle, wherever the case is. But it's definitely like, you know, the agenda to like really get the viewerships up, the clicks and views, like for like the liberals that support her.
You want to add something, BT?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's right on. Behind the scenes, you're right. The engagement needs to happen. They've signed big endorsement deals, big contracts for millions of dollars, and they need to produce content. Similar to the former Prince and the Duchess or whatever. I forget, Prince Harry and his wife. You know, so the Obamas have to sell books. They have to sell clicks and likes on social media, and then they're also, I believe, they are obviously there's legacy and ego involved with them to make sure that his legacy stands, but also too is probably the immense pressure from the DNC and big donor Democrats to pressure them to say, hey, we've given you all this money. You need to put this back together, because they've hemorrhaged. I'm not speaking for you guys, but polls don't lie. They've hemorrhaged black support.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and even Roland Martin, he was just wagging his finger at black people because of. So what people will do is they'll talk about, hey, look at the percentage of black people that voted, but that percentage is of the people that voted, not of the entire community. So the significant amount of had voter apathy and just said, okay, no tangibles, no vote. So that's what really screwed the Democrats over, because the Republicans, they don't vie for the black vote. They don't need it because they just don't give a hoot. The Democrats, they rely heavily on the black vote, which is why they've had open borders so that they can ultimately make us politically irrelevant and have this new population of, Hispanic N-words. So that's pretty much what they're doing with that. But they still need the black people to basically vote for their own demise. So they're trying to get us to vote a couple other election cycles to completely finish us off. The issue is that Trump put a monkey wrench in that. Delineation put a monkey wrench in that. And now, because of the way Biden did it, or whoever was signing that auto pen, they just flooded the country completely to it. they couldn't lie anymore. They couldn't say that, hey, these people are pulling themselves up by their bootstrap when New York alone has spent like over, I think Mayor Adams said 8 or 9 billion, and this was just on illegal immigration. We're not even talking about the citizens. You see what I'm saying? So Obama was behind all of that stuff. Obama was supporting all that stuff. He was, Biden was his right hand man. So all of this stuff is just coming full circle. But let me play a little bit more of the video.
Motherfuckers is out here really just trying to push anti-masculinity. Like, they want every man to just be a feminine product. Is why? A very feminine man, he's not going to go to war. He ain't dying for nobody. He'll be like, that, I need to go get my nails done. He's not going to do any of that. He's not going to go to war. Masculine men are the one who built this goddamn society. They built America. They go to war and they die in a ditch. I don't understand this massive push to end masculinity in America, in the Western society. Why? I don't know, man.
And not only are they pushing the agenda here in America, they're trying to force the same agenda on the rest of the world. We already know America stay jumping in somebody's war, but this strategy is poor because when it's time to fight and you look.
Yeah, so they're acting like this is a tangible because Obama was pushing on, I think it was Uganda. They were saying that, hey, if you guys don't adopt these LGBT policies, then, we're going to sanction you and stuff. And there's a bunch of countries which, I don't agree with, but on one hand, you can't say that these nations are sovereign and then you go over there and try to impose what you think is best, but they only do it on countries that are powerless, right? The Saudis they're no friends to gay people. And this is a new face. Girl Dad cooking up deliciousness. Hit that like button as you come in, and that's some housekeeping. And actually, thank you for salute to Girl Dad cooking up that deliciousness. You just reminded me that I gotta hit him with time for a like intermission. We kindly request that you show love to the channel's creator and platform by leaving a like, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest content. Liking posts is completely free and helps the algorithm boost our reach. We want to grow the community larger and larger. So thank you all who take the time to support us. It does mean the world to us and doesn't go unnoticed. Bam. So for all that hit that like, looks like M3 had to go. So he says salute. It's all good. Thank you for dropping by. Ensure that you hit that like, share, leave a comment. I do appreciate that. But yeah, America wanted to spread its LGBTQ ideology to Ghana, Kenya, and Uganda. So what they wanted to do is force this on other communities, right? They talk about we're not the world police and they believe in sovereignty. That's not right. And let's just say that I was completely for or against this. I don't believe in us meddling in other countries' affairs. If they want to unjustly treat their people, I don't agree with that, but I don't think it's our place to jump in every conflict when we are treating our citizens horrible here. It's just extremely hypocritical. And that's what the Chinese would say too. Like, yeah, the Chinese would say, you guys are whining about us about human rights abuses. Look how you treat black people. And then it kind of was a mic drop moment. So the US had to kind of deliver different propaganda. They're sending in fentanyl. So think about this, right? The US hasn't declared Haiti as its enemy. but they'll ban Haitian migrants, right? But how many times have you heard them say that China is our enemy, but they won't ban Chinese immigration? Does that make any sense to you? Non-citizens can buy property, they can do all sorts of stuff. And I'm not on the China war hawk train, but does that make any sense to you? We need to protect our borders, but like, let's bring over more Chinese immigrants because we do need them and they are the model minorities. But wouldn't they be easily placed to be the Trojan horses or double agents and stuff? I'm not saying that this is definitive, but does that, like, if some Haitians are coming over, the Haitians is coming to work, right? You know that that's what they're coming from. They're actually coming from persecution, actually do want a better life. The Chinese people, they're coming to dominate. And I don't think that's bad on their part, but it's just, it's annoying on the America First MAGA bozos that are always complaining, about the blacks. And then they'll say, China is our enemy. But then they want more Chinese immigrants because they want to find an Asian wife that looks like Mulan. It's ridiculous, bro. Go ahead, BT.
Yeah, the thing is with China is doing the exact same thing we do, which is trying to dominate in markets, grow their economy. I'm not against China. What I am against is people trying to sell what they do over there as, well, this is the way you should run it. No, that's the way China runs it. Let China run the way China wants to run it. We are a democracy. We do things a little bit differently on our side. I think it's, they do a tremendous amount of business worldwide. And just like she mentioned, and you just mentioned too, imposing our views on the world. And it's not just America. So the United States is involved with, obviously, NATO, but, the European Union, as far as like doing business with them, and the WEF, the World Economic Forum. And the policies of, borrowing money, like the, what do they call it? The monetary fund, where we loan money to countries in need, and they have to follow our policies. So that's the same thing that Germany or anybody else would do. We're all doing the same. The difference is when China loans money out, it's business as usual. You can operate any way you want to operate. But China does. They're really smart when they loan money out because they control it. So they put their people in charge of projects. They manage the projects, and then it's all fed back into China. So
yeah, I was gonna say it's self-serving to them.
Yes. And don't get me wrong, we do this. We have the same mindset too, but we kind of do this blind trust where we throw money away. And yeah, it amazed me how many billions have gone to Africa, and still we don't see a lot of progress there. But when it
because
comes to
they keep installing
China,
Africa, they keep installing corrupt and puppet leaders as well. Because when you see a lot of those leaders, they're not living there. It's just like the head of state, and they fund a lot of those opposition groups, the Boko Haram, Taliban, ISIS, and all the stuff. They fund those groups, and then when they destabilize them, they talk about, oh my God, see, this is just what happens when we leave them to their own. And then they come in and they'll say, we'll bring in our superior, sophisticated military, and we'll start a military base to protect you. But that military base is just to have easier access to the resources, and they already have a strong familiarity with the locals. So when they do actually take it over, colonize it, extract the resources, it's just a piece of cake, because it's like, oh no, those were the people that were here to help us, that bought us food that they wouldn't even eat, but they helped us, right? They bought us clothes that they won't even wear, but it was to help us, right? And then it turns into, well, they didn't have anything, so me giving them a slice of bread is better than them starving and stuff. It's like, yeah, but you could have gave them more than a slice of bread, right? You purposely keep them desperate, purposely keep them destitute. They'll complain about this group's IQ is low, okay? And then let's just say I can see that and say, that is true. This group's IQ is low. So we need an intervention so we can help them learn. No, why would I want to do that? Pull yourself up. That's DEI. And it's like, why are you complaining about an issue that you don't want to fix? I'm acknowledging the issue, right? They're not reading at grade level. So let's invest more to help them read. No, why should we do that? The buildings are dilapidated, property tax. So it's like, just say that you don't want to fix the issue. Just stop bitching about it, because that's where it gets extremely pathetic. And then they'll say, what about Chicago? The kids can't read in Chicago. It's like, how are you going to fix that? You know what we're going to do? We're going to build a school in Africa. How the fuck does that help Chicago?
Right. Right. We've done a tremendous amount of work overseas, and it's not really done a lot of benefit for us. That's for sure. And those other countries, like a lot of those, a lot of Africans will actually say, man, like, who cares about the US aid? None of us got anything.
Exactly. So that was the same thing too. What went with kind of like DEI. Now a bunch of black people are like, man, didn't really benefit us. So now they're trying to manipulate and get more people to say, no, it does affect you. And that's what they're doing too with the US AID, where they're saying, look, they cut off stuff from Africa. So black people, you guys should crash out for this. But it's like, when you talk to a lot of people that are on the ground there, they're saying good, because those billions were lining people's pockets. Did you know that Biden gave an apology and 55 billion to Rwanda? That they apologized for slavery and gave 55 billion to Rwanda. Does anyone know what happened with that money? And a lot of the people that are funneling the money, it's a lot of NGO, non-black, non-African NGOs that are getting this money. But all it is a headline that they'll pose with some African leaders in kente cloth and say that, yay, look, this is what we did for black people. So why are the American freedmen, why are you complaining when this is what we did to black people? It's like, that was for people in Morocco. That was for people in Senegal. What the hell does that have to do with someone in Oakland, Baltimore?
Right.
Go ahead, BT.
They take an old microwave and put some new wires on it or something, and tell you they're doing carbon captioning from the air molecules and things, and there'd be some American, green energy company partnered with an African, and they got $200 million for some bogus machine they built that no one can prove it captures anything,
Yeah, exactly. It's like a don't ask, no, don't tell. You're not even supposed to ask, but it's it's beyond pathetic. But how much more time you got? Because I want to try to get into one other story before we shut her down.
Yeah, let's do one more story.
Okay, cool. So in the meanwhile, let me just do a little intermission so that I could we can move on to the next story. And thank you everyone that's active in the chat, the people that are currently watching, the people that will watch the playback. Leave a comment, smash that like button, and feel free to share your boy out. And I'm gonna get the video set up. But while I do,
私も地元民といっても実際世代です。もう友達できたの？うん。ぶったまんまこっち見ない。
be leaning like a cholo. In the club, I'm 20 deep. I don't be riding solo. Pull some bad bitches, they vanilla and cocoa. They wanna take some photos when we kick it out in Soho. Chicks are showing tits and popping pussy for my promo. Told them like juvenile, baby, move it for me slow-mo. Then I'm right back to the block, cause I keep getting moto. I be flipping, not shrinking. I don't give a fuck about no ho. No ho. This nigga name ain't D-Lo, but pimpin' these bitches and stacking this bread. Forever be my stilo. This is B-Eazy Dat Dude. In the trap making packs move. If I ever go broke, then I'm about to pull a jack move. Since a nigga healthy, I don't even gotta worry. With my bitch from Fiji, eating tandoori and chicken curry. That ism is really in me. My pimp game international. I design my own clothes, so I be always looking fashionable. Here's a couple facts about me that y'all didn't know. Some of y'all be getting bread, but I be getting bigger, dawg. I got bigger guns and a whole lot of bad.
Okay, and we are back. So this right here is a video from Tabitha Speaks Politics. And on this one, shout out to her for this video. She didn't really have to say much. She just let the person do the talking, but she did make some facial expressions. So body language, 80% of communication is body language. So she did communicate, but I'm definitely going to play this and chime in. And let me just set the stage. Right now, people are bleeding hearts in the street. Oh my God, Trump is ushering mass deportations. It's like the Third Reich and Nazism and all of this stuff. When you look at the numbers, he really hasn't deported that many people, especially compared to the deporter-in-chief Obama. So before people would say America is not a racist country, people would say that black people complain about racism too much. Why do you have to make it about race? You guys need to just pull yourself up by your bootstraps, stop having a victim mindset. Suddenly that talk is slowly dissipating and people are copping pleas and wanting the FBAs to run to the rescue. But tis the season, and you know what season that is? HYON. What's HYON? Hold your own nuts. So let's play this. Hold your own nuts is just like somebody saying, do you, boo? Do you, boo, means you do your thing over there away from me and I'll do mine over here. No disrespect, no hate, but you just gotta hold your own nuts. But let's commence.
I can empathize and sympathize with the black community. I've never been able to do that before because I would hear them say things like, oh, you know, we walk down the street and we get profiled and, you know, cops would just suddenly stop and frisk or whatever just because of the color of their skin. And I always thought like, you know, it's a little bit of a stretch. It feels like a little bit of a stretch.
24 seconds in. 24 seconds in, and this dude is saying he can finally empathize with the black community. He said he couldn't do that before. Interesting. He also said that, hey, I would hear them complain about I'm being stopped because of the color of my skin, and he didn't believe us. He said that he figured that if we were being stopped, it's because we done something wrong, and it was legitimate. So if you say, is this guy stupid? You will say, no, he's not stupid. He's one of those hardworking model minorities. So if he's not stupid and he's hardworking and a model minority and educated, how the hell doesn't he know the level of prejudice in this country, right? The level of vitriol that people of any background could spew at any time. So when people were saying that this is a racist country, they were like, no, you're being woke. You can't say that. So then I say, okay, you're right. It's not racist. And then he goes through this and now they're crying racism. But you just told me to stop talking about it. You said it didn't exist. You said that it was a myth. You said that we were just lying and complaining all the time. So I'm going to run that back. But this dude I guess this was a call to action to team up with each other, but this was a bit infuriating and it was exposing as well because he's saying that he never empathized with us. But not only that, right? Do I need to be trans to empathize with trans people? Do I need to be from South America or China to empathize with them? If it's a human right or injustice, I'm supposed to be against that right, regardless of the ethnicity, regardless of the nationality, etc. But this dude already had a preconceived bias against my lineage, my community, the same community that he's going to try to reach out to unify. But for what? We'll unify and then you go back to calling me a nigger or a mayate, a pinche mayate chango. Nah, it's a new day, bruh. But let me run this back. Hold on.
Now I can empathize and sympathize with the black community. I've never been able to do that before because I would hear them say things like, oh, we walk down the street and we get profiled and, cops will just suddenly stop and frisk or whatever just because of the color of their skin. And I always thought like, it's a little bit of a stretch. It feels like a little bit of a stretch. That person must be doing something, right? And obviously, I've never experienced that before. I've never felt that way before and stuff. And so I always thought like, ignorantly, by the way, on my part, thinking like, I think you guys are, because I'm brown, I've never felt that and stuff like that, I'm also a minority. But now, for us, it wasn't the cops. Cops aren't just randomly to go and checking in the past.
And this I blame the Democrats on and sellout blacks for trying to unite us under the people of color marginalized groups banner because he's saying, I'm brown, it never happened to me. You're brown, but you're white adjacent, and even a bunch of brown people on paper have always identified as white. He gets shunned from his own community because he's darker, but Mexican is not a race. Mexicans fought tooth and nail to be legally classified as white in America. 1848, I believe, it was the Treaty of Hidalgo. They lost the Mexican-American War. They were occupied, and the U.S. was like, look, we can basically just slaughter you and annihilate you, or you can just play ball, and then we'll accept a bunch of Mexicans as American citizens and call them white, but you also have to cede a bunch of territory. And they paid them $15 million, which in today's dollars, based on my calculations, would have been anywhere from 600 to 700 million. So this stuff, he could easily look it up. This is not even my history. This is his history. So he's saying he doesn't know this stuff. I'm brown, like his people fought to not be considered brown. And that's why people are infuriated and are delineating, because a bunch of people who have been legally classified as white are also double dipping and saying I'm a person of color, but I'm also Hispanic. Hispanic or Latino is not a race. So on Tuesdays and Wednesdays they're white, and then the rest of the days they're Hispanic. And then they're saying, oh, well, I have African ancestry, so I'm black. Everyone has African ancestry. I have European ancestry. Doesn't mean that I'm white. So there's all these little word games that people like to play. I'm brown one day, a person of color, Hispanic. Also, I'm Caucasian. No, I'm not white. I'm just Caucasian. No, I'm just like, dude, just say what you are. And that's why people are leaning into ethnic identifiers, lineage identifiers. But him saying, hey, well, I'm a minority too, like all minorities get treated the same. There's a reason why they had the term model minority, meaning that other minorities weren't acting like this, and this is how they should act. You should be a model citizen, be a model minority. So this dude is just full of you know what. But let's commence. Let me rewind it a little bit. And this dude just looks like a little...
convenient. He just learned.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He just learned, and it's how convenient, right? He just learned, and now he just wants us to help us out. He wants us to disregard his ignorance and say, you know what? Attaboy. Yeah, my bad. I'll help you. I'll crash out for you. No, Edgar, you're on your own. But let me play.
Thinking like, I think you guys are, because I'm brown, I've never felt that and stuff like that, I'm also a minority. But now, with us, it wasn't the cops. Cops aren't just randomly they go and checking in the past. But now it's our turn, right? Now we feel it. Now we feel like, crap, can I just go down the street? Do I need my paper? It's like, why are you stopping me? I'm a U.S. citizen. What the, we're not doing anything wrong. And now we're being persecuted. And so now I'm thinking like, crap, this is what.
Now he's being persecuted because someone is asking for his papers. Okay, where's your papers? Okay, cool. I'm a U.S. citizen. And then they're sending you on your way. They're not saying, here, where's your papers? Bend over so we can do an anal probe. Like, that's not happening.
Right.
Why do people act like stop and frisk is not a thing? Like, do you know what they do in stop and frisk? Like, come on, bro. Most of these people are not even being frisked. They're asked to show their papers. Frisk is a physical thing. Here, turn, put your hands against the wall, spread them. It's like, that's not happening to them. And then when it is happening to them, they keep leaving out that one little pesky detail. This person came here illegally. And they're like, but he's working. Okay. If I break into your house and then I steal from you, or let's just say I break into your house and occupy, and it's like, get the hell out of my house. It's like, dude, I have a job that I work 40 hours a week. You broke into my house. I mean, as I'm sending you out, I'll give you a cookie for you working 40 hours a week, but you still got to get the hell up out of here. And that's what people don't understand. So when people saying, hey, you came here illegally, get the hell up out of here and come back the right way. But the reason why they came here illegally is because they know that the system is broken and that the system is not designed to handle tens of millions of people flooding the border. So that's why a lot of people said they knew that they were coming illegally and they opted to come illegally because it was a better option for them. It was a better way to get, and it's true, right? Like a lot of people, they'll tell you, I was on the list for 4 years, 5 years and stuff, versus here, Biden has the red carpet so I can just mosey on in. You know what I mean? But
right,
just because that's what people are doing and that's what they've been doing doesn't mean that we have to accept that. Doesn't mean that I have to act like that's not an issue. Because remember, we were talking about what, Wyoming and West Virginia? Fine. Send them all there, right? They're a bunch of hard workers doing the jobs that no American wants to do. Cool. Let them go build up West Virginia. Let them go build up Utah. Suddenly, those areas become restrictive. But all of the black neighborhoods, they should be able to dump them there. You seen what happened with Martha's Vineyard? They weren't there a day. And they were like, they gave them a Lunchable and sent them on their they gave them a Lunchable, a pat on the back, and was like, thank you, get the hell out of here. Who has more room and resources to house these people? Martha's Vineyard or a poor neighborhood in Oakland, a poor neighborhood in Baltimore? It's like, you guys wanted this. You bleeding hearts, libs, and you rhinos wanted this. So dump them over there, right? And let them do all of their industrious work there. Go ahead, BT.
Well, this is, here's a guy speaking. He just discovered there was issues with, being treated differently. He just discovered Black Americans were treated differently. Crazy. His English is perfect. He's born and raised in the United States, probably a California registered Democrat or something like that.
Yep.
Now that his NGO is suffering, oh man, I gotta get my this coalition going. Man,
but he's calling it persecution. And let me play a little bit more, because he's calling this persecution and saying, no, I know what the black community. It's like, tell me one migrant that has been, and look, I'm not advocating for violence, but and police, they kill more white people than black people. It's just per capita, is very disproportionate towards Black people, right? But why is it, and mind you, there were Black people that was like, this person had a toy gun, that person had illegal firearms, this person was just selling cigarettes. A lot of those people died at the hands of police. Name one migrant that died at the hands of police. There were some that passed away in some of these detention centers, but it wasn't like they were tortured into, you know what I mean? That no one was kneeing on their neck, right? Show me the videos of them brutalized. Like, there's no videos of that. But suddenly, because they're saying, here, let me see your papers, now that's the same as what the Black community has been through. Like, dude, you need to chill. This Porky Pig, who I'll call Porky Paulo.
In the past, but now it's our turn. Right now, we feel it. Now we feel like, crap, can I just go down the street? Do I need my paper? It's like, why are you stopping me? I'm a U.S. citizen. We're not doing anything wrong. And now we're being persecuted. And so now I'm thinking, like, crap, this is what the Black community meant, and I kind of feel bad. Well, I don't kind of feel. I feel bad because I never really could understand where they were coming from or where you guys were coming from. But I can assure you that now that it's here with us too, it's like, crap. I honestly, legitimately didn't think it was real. But it's real as hell. And it's obviously minority groups that are targeted and persecuted pretty much. And it's right now with us because we're brown. You guys have had your turn when, cops were just in bigger cities, urban areas, stopping disproportionately, the Black community and stuff.
Dude, just shut the fuck up. It's our turn now. Like, what the hell are you talking about? It's your turn. Nothing is happening to you. And when did it stop being our turn?
Something.
Go ahead, bro. This dude is pissing me off.
I gotta say something. It is like, oh my God. I almost feel bad. Oh, I do feel bad. I can't believe he's thinking to himself, man, I just cooked this TikTok video. I cannot wait to send it because I am really going to win hearts and minds. I can't believe he would think that and then hit that send button. It's ugly. I mean, it's ugly. And it's almost like mocking in a way.
And that's what I was saying. It's a bit condescending where he thought that he was doing this to say, look, this is my journey. This is my growth. I used to be oblivious, but now I'm awakened and I'm enlightened. And yeah, we need to stick together. But we're supposed to disregard him downplaying. Like, this dude is, I would say, looks like he's possibly late 20s, early 30s or something like that. So come on, bro. Like, you're not a spring chicken for him to act like he didn't know. And what he admitted to is that he did know because he heard us complaining about it. He just didn't believe us. So, it's a lot of stuff going on. And for him to say it's our turn, once again, nothing is happening to you that didn't happen to us in the past and that isn't currently happening to us. And it's happening even more harshly to us. So I just don't want to hear this sob story of him saying, oh man, it's real. It's real. Yeah, we fucking told you it was real, you idiot. So it's like, I don't have any sympathy for you, Edgar. Hold your own nuts. But let me commence.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, I guess
and this is
now
what
I understand.
Go ahead.
This is what I would like to kind of, end with on the segment is this goes on to a larger topic of police brutality and the realities of who actually has suffered police brutality versus those who talk about being subjected to police violence, because I hear a lot of shouting at the police as far as from
Did you see they were throwing rocks? They were throwing rocks and burning the ice. Yeah. I mean, burning American flags and shit.
Yeah, right. Like, so whites and these other minorities are actually claiming that they are also suffering from police violence, when that is not true, and that needs to be on a larger topic at some point that I would like to discuss, because it's absurd. It's absurd to think whites have been targeted for police violence, especially when you put yourself in situations where you are at these violent protests and you are fighting with the police and not complying, and that needs to be addressed, because we are not victims of police brutality unless we've really put ourselves in that position. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was a viral video a couple years ago where this white lady, she went in a police station with a gun and was shooting, but they had a lot of bulletproof glass. She was shooting in the police station, and they were like, calm down. Like, they took her in peacefully and was like, calm down. There was another officer that was in the back of she was in like the back of a cruiser, and she was trying to escape and attack. It's just countless videos and things that show where it's like, that's what privilege is, and people just get uncomfortable with that. But people like Jordan Peterson, and even Jordan Peterson had to say, well, yeah, white privilege is real, but like that's kind of the point of upholding whiteness, right? Is to basically bestow certain privileges on it to so there's a racial and obviously skin pigment stratification. So I did agree. I added extra, but like he did essentially kind of say it in that regard. And I'm not really a huge Jordan Peterson fan. I think that the dude is, obviously he's not a dummy. He is smart, but he does have a lot of deficiencies, you know what I mean? So I don't see him as like a messiah or something like that. But let's just finish this out real quick.
I think moving forward, there's going to be a little bit more unity, because we now can see where you guys are coming from. Well, at least I can, And so, yeah, guys, I just want to say sorry for being ignorant before, but I hope this unites all communities, not just minorities, and call out things for what they are, regardless of the race. I'm sorry to my community
sorry for being racist,
for voting the way I did. I acknowledged the mistake earlier, but it's different. When you acknowledge something, it's kind of like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. When you say I'm sorry, it's more like, yeah, I fucked up. And I think I fucked up. Obviously, my one vote didn't make the difference, but it contributed. And I don't even know why I was like so bent out on the price of eggs, price of gas and shit. I have a fucking Tesla. I'm blessed enough to not know how much milk or eggs or none of that bullshit cost. I just go and buy it. My dumbass was joining the propaganda. Oh, look at all these people. They can't afford homes. Blah, blah, blah. I can go buy another fucking house. I fucked up royally. And so now, yes, at least I'm marching. I'm doing some research, spreading the word. But I truly wish that I was on the right side of history from the get-go. Not for selfish reasons, but because had I been, at least I would not have contributed to all these people that are being hurt in our community. I wouldn't have contributed to fucking U.S. citizens being arrested because God decided to use more melanin when he was creating them. I wouldn't have contributed, and I wish that was the case. But I fucked up, so I'm sorry. But you have my word that moving forward, I'm going to be on the right side of history.
And she had no words. She just rolled her eyes. This dude is pathetic. Did you hear what this dude was saying? Oh, he said he has. Remember, I told you that this dude was a little privileged, little pompous, little brat. He said that he has a Tesla, so he's not even concerned about gas. He voted for Trump, and now Trump is, because this is the thing. A lot of people, when Trump said he was going to get the criminals out, for some reason they thought that he meant FBA, Foundational Black American Freedmen. A lot of people thought that we were like immigrants, because of the whole African American term and stuff. And then they start getting all of his people that look like him out, and suddenly he's like, hey, big head, help us out. It's like, bro, what did you think was going to happen? Right. He said so he voted for the mass deportations. Now he's asking for the Black community to come out there and he's saying, oh, I'm doing my part, I'm marching. What the hell have those marches done? Like, they had that No Kings protest, right? What did that accomplish, right? Even right now, how many people, and I'm not saying people shouldn't march or protest, I support that, but what is it accomplishing if you're not truly challenging power? And by power, I mean economic power, hitting them where their wallet hurts. And this is why people hate. I hate the riots and destruction. It's like, yeah, that's what wakes people up, because peaceful protests don't get it done. And for anyone, I'm not advocating for violence, but like Malcolm said, by any means necessary. Because right now, the civil rights movement, they were Martin Luther King was axing nicely, and what did they say? Shut up, nigger, hit him with a rock. Here, sick a dog. There was axing them nicely, but there was others in the street that was turning up, busting heads and cracking heads, to where they said, hey, look, man, we got to do something about this. And this is why they bestowed a lot of here, you can be white and you'll be above, those ends. Here, you can be a model minority. So they did all of these kind of symbolic gestures and trinkets to get people to stop turning up. And then now that people are like, hey, look, the whites are going to be at the top as long as I'm above the blacks. So people just stop believing in radical politics, and a lot of these politics are not radical. Even the old racist white people, they would have never been standing for all of this money in politics. They would have never been standing for these like open borders and pharmaceutical companies and all the stuff like that. But now you got rhinos and stuff who still wants to kind of push for mass amnesty that they're not calling amnesty. And so it's just a different time, but I'm just kind of sick of these dudes whining and acting like, hey, they just don't know what's going on.
I'm with you. I mean, it's just, it's the same story where, and quite frankly, what he was saying was probably, more than likely a op type advertisement. All the, the way he was talking, and I could just buy another house. I mean, that's arrogant liberal talk.
Mm-hmm.
Are they creating videos of, oh yeah, I voted for Trump? How many old liberals? Oh, I can't believe Trump did this. I voted for him. It's like, you're not a Trump supporter. I know what Trump supporters look like. You're not a Trump supporter.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's like, why would you? Yeah, and it's like, why would you be shocked as well? Like, he said what he was going to do. And then they're like, I didn't really think he would do it. It's like, well, what the hell are you shocked about? And even a lot of the stuff he's doing, he's not really doing it at the level that he said. And like a bunch of these like snaggletooth hillbillies, a bunch of these tap dancing conservatives, that they voted for him. And he's just giving all sorts of massive handouts to his rich buddies. But I thought you guys wanted smaller government. You notice they always talk about, I'm against big government, until it's time to get a handout. Then it's Elon, Jeff Bezos, Bloomberg. They're all right there to daddy government to get a handout while asking you to accept nothing.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just that vote, last couple days, with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and not to start another topic, but just piggybacking off of what you said, there's definitely a split with some Republicans that are not happy with the funding of war and Israel and Ukraine and things, and they're still holding strong, which is it's unfortunate because they're Marjorie Taylor Greene and a couple of these other politicians are great. I see what they're doing, but at the same time, it's like when you're anti-black on the other side, you've said some things that are questionable. How can if you're a supporter say, hey, B-Eazy, check out Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then you look her up. Oh yeah, I like that part. And oh whoa, where's this coming from?
Yeah, and a
She's
lot of
calling
people
everybody a
like
DEI hire.
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of people they'll say like, "Oh, okay, well, I could just ignore that because." Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah. So could you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So some people will ignore that because they say, "Hey, well, she's against war and stuff," but is she really against it? Because she does a lot of bloviating, and then when it's time for her to vote, she votes for war. She votes for oligarchy. She votes for everything she rails against. And she'll always try to find this kind of pet peeve cultural issue that typically doesn't really do anything to enhance your life, but it's just something that people get riled up of, kind of like the whole trans bathroom things and stuff. And, yeah, you can have your opinion about it, but like when you go to the pump, does that have anything to do with trans bathrooms? When you go to buy a house and interest rates, does that have anything to do with trans? So you could just keep going on and on. It's like, bro, even those Jeff files, right? Does that have anything to do with gas? And people are like, we're trying to protect the children. Right. What about the over 300,000 of children that were missing from Biden's open border policy? Like, what about those children?
Right.
It's like you're trying to figure out the children that went to Jeff's Island. It's like you're not going to figure that out because the powers that be, they've already made sure that you won't figure it out. But they use it as a political football to usher in votes that ultimately, like, what did it amount to? Now people are saying, I didn't vote for this. Yeah, now it doesn't matter. He used you to get a vote in, and now you saying, I didn't vote for this. What the hell does that matter to Trump? This is his last term, unless people believe that,
right.
Well, he's going to find a way to get a third term. It's like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it.
Right. Right.
All right, BT, did you have anything else to add? Because I know it's kind of getting a little bit late for you over there. Did you want to?
I'm good. It's a great segment we did. I look forward to doing a few more.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I'm just gonna hang out just because I had a couple people that want to come up, but I'm gonna shut the stream down pretty soon. So you can drop down anytime, or you can stay up if you choose. Because I'll probably have another 15 minutes or so that I'm gonna be up here.
All right. Well, I do got a jet, but it was obviously great talking to you guys again. Thanks for everybody for watching us, and hopefully you liked what you heard.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I figured you had a jet, so yeah, I appreciate you stopping by, and we'll be in touch, and we'll do this again.
For sure. See, take it easy.
I appreciate you, BT. Braxton, the snake fiend, you there? Is that you, Braxton, or is this a troll? It's an echo for some reason. You gotta close.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? For some reason, there was an echo. You gotta close the YouTube. Yes. So
How do I
close that
sound now?
YouTube. I don't know. It has an echo right now. Hold on. I'm gonna have to mute you because it's a little bit annoying. But yeah, I typically what happens is that you might have to drop down and close your YouTube and just come in on the link.
Do I still have an echo now?
No, you don't have an echo, but it's making my thing. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, say something.
How do I sound now?
No, you sound good. For some reason, there's an echo on my end. Hold on. All right, just say what you got to say. I'll just mute up and let you speak.
Well, okay, yeah, but anyways, I guess you should
Just
come in.
stay muted until it's time to speak because there's an echo for some reason. But go ahead, Braxton.
Okay, well, yeah, usually I come in at the last minute as usual on here, but anyways, yeah, but as far as the FBA versus the whole foreign, well, other type of foreign goes, but in particular the FBA versus black foreigners. Now notice I say the FBA thing was one thing, but when the delineation came along, that's what made them crash out harder. Now all of a sudden they're black, they want to be included, and reparations were all one big huge Negro and this and blah blah blah, and the crazy things I have heard so far saying that jambalaya comes from jollof, gumbo comes from Africa, and jazz comes from Cuba. Yes, this whole delineation thing, it really has been crashing out back and forth, and I do care in this case because I love it, because I say, hey, the more of them crash out, the more of them gone, the less they are them to have to deal with and fight, because you got white supremacy on one hand, you got tether supremacy on the other hand, and then also you have FBAs that wants to do other types of crazy things. So so you got enemies, on more than just two ends. And in that video of that Latino guy, I've seen the same video just 2 days ago, I think around 2 days ago. So him saying that he finally realized and seeing what black people go through, or what black people were I'm talking about. I was like, well, for you it's too little too late. So like for foreigners, because usually, if you notice, it's a lot of like the darker skinned foreigners who believe they're such like teacher's pet and being model minorities and all that. I was like, have you not stepped back and took a real good look at yourself, and you really think, quote, them folks are gonna take you in as their own and see you and accept you no matter how much you want to talk, act, and think like them? No. I was like, they better ask Vivek Ramaswamy that, because he got his wake-up call on live TV, on live international TV from Man Culture, and that was so beautiful to watch. And who recently got that wake-up call, that Val Lieutenant guy, when he was talking to the leader of Patriot Front, Thomas Russo, and he got his wake-up call on there because on PNB he saw himself as an American. He was surprised that if he wanted to join Patriot Front, he wouldn't be able to join. I was like, well, yeah, when Thomas said for Americans only and real true patriot Americans, he meant Americans who comes from the same background and skin tone as him. So what the hell else did you think that he was talking about, boy? Like, come on, get serious, get real, and get a clue. And so far this whole delineation thing moving going, and I'm enjoying it. I think I'm enjoying it a bit too much.
It's not. All right, I'm gonna have to mute you up because for some reason, just mute up, Braxton. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but like whenever it's off mute, so just whenever it's speaking, we'll just mute up. But yeah, the delineations for me is the only way forward. I know a lot of people say it's divisive, but we were never really united like that. And actually, we're late to the delineation party. Every other group has always delineated. It's just since we're doing it now, people haven't expected it from us, so it's a culture shock. Now, I get it. Some people can be a bit obnoxious. inflammatory, insensitive with their rhetoric. But the thing is, I don't give a crap about that, because when we were being called Yankees, Jareers, Abid, Yankee, Akata, like all of these words, and there's more words too. Literally, almost every racial group has a derogatory, slurred epithet towards us, but we don't sit around thinking about other groups like that. Even now, people complain about the word tether. Tether is the most mild, it's a descriptive term, but, obviously it can be used as an epithet, but, it can be used pejoratively, or just as really to describe. No one has an issue with calling people, you shouldn't use the term Uncle Tom. The appropriate term is Sambo, but no one has an issue with people being called that. No one has an issue with people being called the raccoon word, right? But suddenly, when we call a tether, it's like, how could you say that? Well, this person is a tethering. They're tethering onto a lineage that's not theirs. They are also actively undermining a lineage that's not theirs. They're cosplaying, saying, hey, I'm of this lineage just like you, but I'm also could take this lineage off and discard it as if it's a coat, because I don't have any stake into this particular lineage, right? It's just I'm using it as a transactional thing that I can use to extract resources from. So before, we've been on board with it just being one global Negro, inviting everyone to the cookout, calling anyone black. Mariah Carey, you black. Steph Curry, you black. Anybody. One drop rule. Okay, cool. They said that was inappropriate, but it's like, hey, we'll still hold on to it. So we've been the most accepting. We've been the most pan-Africanist. We have been inviting any and everyone to the cookout who's not black. Now all of a sudden we're saying, where has that really gotten us? It's had a more disenfranchised, deleterious effect than it has been empowering, enfranchising. So, people like to say, oh, well, the definition of this insanity is doing the same thing over and over. So if we've been voting Democrat over and over, and we've been inviting people to the cookouts over and over, and we've been doing this whole global Negro Pan-African thing over and over, wouldn't that be the definition of insanity, to not change from that? And delineation isn't about division. It's about distinction. There's nothing wrong with distinction, because if you're telling us it's divisive for us to delineate, then it's divisive for everyone to delineate, which means when I speak of samurais, don't mention to me Japanese, because they're Asian, right? So samurais are Asian culture. Also, matter of fact, it's not Asian culture. Asians are people of color. So samurais are people of color culture. Oh, people of color are minorities. So samurais are minority culture. You see where we're going with this? Japanese people would be infuriated. That would be unacceptable. It would be unacceptable for Koreans to claim Japanese samurais. It would be unacceptable for Filipinos to claim Japanese samurai or Chinese ninjas. But when it comes to us, someone from Senegal could claim that they created hip hop too. Someone from Morocco could say that they created jazz too. And it's like, no, hold your own nuts, hold your own cultural accomplishments as well. I want to be able to cherish and embrace what your culture created. If your culture didn't create anything, that's fine. Just pay homage to the cultures that you are extracting from and emulating after. That's all we're about. We don't mind, and this is, probably problematic as well. We don't mind other people using our culture, adopting our culture, paying homage to our culture. But when you try to colonize and say that you created it, that's where it becomes a tug of war. And that's what a lot of stuff is happening too. Even people saying, hey, we work so much harder than you. And then they get offended when they say, well, why didn't you work this hard in your homeland? And that turns into you're being xenophobic. But that is a fair question to ask, because if Braxton comes over to my house and he's saying, hey, I helped you clean your house. Now your house is spick and span. And it's like, if it wasn't for me, your house wouldn't look like this because I worked so much harder than you. And it's like, well, you actually do have a house of your own. And then when I go to your house is filthy and disgusting. So how are you trying to preach to me about cleanliness when you haven't cleaned your own house? And then you want to just try to deflect to, well, I helped you and I worked faster and all this stuff. Yeah, that still doesn't negate the statement that I'm making. So when I see people flying Jamaican's flag, Haitian flag, that typically means that you're proud of that country. But how proud are you if you don't even want to go back? How proud of you if you don't even want to fix it? And then people say, well, I'll send money back. Yeah, you send money back to an individual family that's not doing anything to fix the conditions there. They're just going along to get along because the Jamaicans in Jamaica can't even access their beaches. That seems like a huge concern that y'all should be uniting to defend against, to rebel against. Instead, you're talking about, well, FBA said this, and the FBA's is just following Tariq, and FBA's is doing this. There's plenty of people that don't even like Tariq. They call themselves FBA. And then a bunch of people is like, Jesse Jackson is a op, right? But you have no problem calling yourself African American. Does that even make any sense at all? Tariq is a op. That's why I don't call myself FBA. I'm African American. Well, Jesse Jackson is a known op. He and Al Sharpton for sure was an FBI informant, and Jesse Jackson just sold the community out. So that's documented. And you still want to cling on to the African American term. You don't see that as opish, right? So it's just a whole lot of BS, and but the delineation is people should be proud of delineation, right? Because when they win something, they say, Nigeria, stand up. I don't think that's a bad thing. The bad thing is that you're just trying to say you're Nigerian today, but if you commit a crime, I'm black. I'm just black American. I'm just African American. No, you're Nigerian American doing that crime. Hold your own nuts, hold your own culture, hold your own crimes. It's not really simple, right? If we are such horrible, violent, savage thugs, then once they see the stats, it should prove us as violent thugs. There should be no Nigerians on there, no one from Haiti on there. No one from Morocco, no one from Bangladesh or anything on there, right? So people should be championing and promoting disaggregation of data. Same thing with Native Americans, right? There's over 500 plus federally recognized tribes. Why don't people just call them one big Indian, right? No, they have what's called intellectual sovereignty. And foundational Black American freedmen should have the same. So before I shut it down, Michael Pan, what you got?
Yes, hi, B-Eazy. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah,
How
I
you
just
doing?
want. I'm pretty good myself. I just been busy, emailing members of Congress on reparations. So far, it's been a work in progress, and also in Texas too. Unfortunately, I didn't receive a great news from the Texas State Assembly, especially the Black Legislative Caucus from the staffer. I was a little disappointed when he said about Greg Abbott, the Texas American Freedmen Affairs Agency bill is not going to be germane at this moment because of the flood. And when I read that, I mean, I had to at first I didn't understand until I brought to someone who's an expert on policies and the language, and you probably know Jesse Paris, right? Frontline Media News. He talks about reparation.
I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, so he told me that, yeah, in other words, what the staff is telling you is that, yeah, it's not going to be very important. It's not going to be relevant. So in other words, it's a stall tactic. And so, yeah, I was disappointed, very disappointed, because I was looking forward to, like, look, if California is having a hard time to get reparations done, then let me try the next level for Texas at least. And the same thing, same thing, Boulez, stalling the American Affairs Agency bill, to issue reparations for those who are descendants of chattel slave in Texas. Because the staffer told me that right now the urgent issue is the flood in Texas, and I pushed back, said no, I disagree, because if flooding is if the floods is a major issue, okay, then don't you think the Black American freedmen who are affected by the floods in Texas deserve, Caspian reparations? Because obviously, to repair a house or to repair the damage that was done, the house needs money, and the American freedmen need money to hire plumbers, hire a maintenance crew to rebuild the house, to install new pipes. And then I also demanded like a follow up, because this is not right from what the policy staffer is doing in Texas. So I'm just waiting to follow through as well. And also speaking earlier to what I said, comments why Obama is pushing the LGBTQ mentors to men, because if you look at Obama's presidency for 8 years, right? And I already knew he was very weak. He was a very weak president. He wanted to be reasonable, not really like fight hard for the people, especially Black American freedmen, because he borrowed a playbook from Bill Clinton, who advised him, and of course some advisor, like telling Obama, "Hey, Obama, don't cave in too much, because you cave too much, you're gonna be considered as too extreme, and then your re-election to be president is going to be diminished." And especially what's his name, Mitch McConnell was the opposite of Obama, and Mitch McConnell like made it very clear, we're gonna make sure to make Obama a one-term president by vetoing all his bills introduced to Congress, not compromising him, right? And the problem with Obama is that he compromised too much. There's a time to compromise and there's a time not to compromise, right? By reading the situation, and Obama did not do a good job of it. And so he feels like the way to really to get people to vote is we need to emphasize LGBTQ and social issues, and not enough on economic issues, such as Medicare for all, tuition debt-free public education, vocational training, and reparations for Black American freedmen of chattel slavery, anti-Black hate crime bill, because he considered like those economic issues as too extreme, and he didn't want to alienate the so-called, the so-called white middle class voters. And so I was not surprised Obama was following the same playbook from Bill Clinton. And also, too, I noticed that Michelle Obama, right? She's very, I find it interesting because although Michelle Obama was not president, but she had that masculine personality, right? And I felt like she probably was leading Obama more than he was supposed to lead the country, right? And speaking about the racism you mentioned in the LGBT community, yes, there is strong anti-Black racism in the LGBTQ community. Especially like the LGBTQs are very covert. They know how to say the right stuff, but they're very careful how they coordinate um, their talking points. And I'm not surprised Obama did a lot for LGBTQs, because LGBTQs, cornered him, put a lot of pressure on him, protested, contacted members of Congress, right? And not to mention, especially in front of the White House, they were protesting Obama to do the right thing, and they were at the Supreme Court too. And so that's why I think why Obama's legacy has been pretty much about LGBTQ and abortion. And when it comes to economy, he barely solved the economic problems, especially hitting Black American freemen the hardest compared to like any other racial groups. And the wealth among Black American freemen has not improved after Obama left office, because he continued to maintain the neoliberal policies from the past. And so That's why I think Obama feels like he's losing control over Black American freedmen voters, because he understands that Black American freedmen voters are delineating themselves, creating new categories, which Black American freedmen have every right to do so, because they understand that the Black American baby boomers, Gen Xers, silent generations, they've been pretty much complicit with the status quo, and they moved the needle very little, but not enough to end white supremacy and racism. So I understand why Black American freedmen say the millennials saying this time we have to learn from our parents' mistakes and avoid them at the same time, because it was very costly for several centuries and counting. And speaking about that Latino man, I saw this Latino man's video on Philip Scott's podcast. I think it was like Monday or Tuesday, don't remember the top of my head. And yeah, then the Latino man unfortunately had to admit the reality that Black American freedmen were right long time ago about police brutality, racial profiling, right? As I always say, when people become too comfortable with the system status quo, they end up becoming victims later on, which was in this case, which the Latino man demonstrated. And I'm pretty sure Tabitha, I could tell by body language, and B-Eazy, you probably can correct me or elaborate. From what I saw from Tabitha, she was like being very cautious and skeptical. What the Latino man was saying that Black American freedmen were right for so long, right, about police brutality, racial profiling, and that the Latino man now wants to come back, but it's too late, because if I were that Latino man, right, if he really cares about Black American freedom, I think it's time for him and his community to stand up and fight for cash-paying reparations, because otherwise just marching without substance is pointless and it defeats the purpose moving forward. And I think Dalia Nason, I noticed too, is opening up the conversations for more Asians, Hispanics, and white people to come to to have a conversation about racism, white supremacy, and maybe reparations. But I know reparations among Asians, white, Hispanics, definitely for some definitely very divided. And also, I saw it's like posting and sharing your videos on Twitter to get more non-Black Americans discussing not only just racism, but I'm hoping they can advocate for cash-paying reparations, because I'm sure you guys are doing great work. I give you guys kudos, because you guys definitely need a break from fight. You fought for so many people, but your own. But whereas like on the other hand, like I'm beginning to fight for cash-paying reparations for Black American freedmen, and I always tell like non-Black Americans, meaning the Asians, white, Hispanics, I can't do this by myself, contacting members of Congress, senators, state representatives, state senators to advance reparations, because one person doing alone is okay for a while, but then it becomes very taxing. And I don't mind to continue the fight, moving forward. And even like Martin Luther King Jr. said a long time ago, I mean, especially warned like white America, hey, white America, capitalism in America is evil and wicked because of slavery. Capitalism needs to go. And unfortunately, it's too late for non-Black Americans to really come out of the mud. And so they're going to have to do this on their own. And B-Eazy and the rest of Black Americans, you guys definitely need a break. You guys definitely need a indefinite separation for the rest of your lives, because you guys did a lot. You guys worked very hard. You guys innovated a lot of things. And it's not good for your health to fight for others who don't reciprocate.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And that was a mic drop. So we're going to go ahead and shut her down. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you guys coming up. So I'm going to go ahead and drop y'all down. That was Braxton. That was Michael Pan. Actually, let me cam up. So salute to Michael Pan, salute to Braxton, salute to BT, Brian, salute to John Sinatra, M3, Intellectual Soapbox, the Girl Dad. I appreciate y'all. This has been an impromptu stream. We touched on various topics. Hopefully y'all enjoy this, and hit the like button. Won't cost you a fee. It is free. I'll be back on the next one. Peace.